Okay, we are now recording the October 20th, 2017 Small Business Accounting Advisors. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Happy
Hello.
Friday.
Hello.
Happy Friday.
Hi.
Miss Mariette, I want to say congratulations to you. Intuit Pro Advisor Profile of the Month. Yay!
Yay! Woo! Thank you. I know, but I'm wearing 17 hats today. Is that wrong? Is that bad? No.
No, because they integrate and work together beautifully.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So thank you for that. Yeah, Intuit's all our partner. They're amazing, and yeah, really humbled and honored for that recognition, and excited about QuickBooks Connect, everyone. So hopefully you guys will be there. And if you have time, you can support my session. I'll be on 2 panels, and I'll be teaching 2 sessions. And I possibly will be doing something that I can't say yet, but I'll tell you guys at QuickBooks Connect. So I'll tell you guys where I'm at, and hopefully we can all hang out if you're going to be there.
Awesome, awesome. So do a Zoom with us for those that can't join sometime.
Yes. Okay. Oh, that's a good idea. Okay.
Where's Connect?
Yeah, okay, we can do that.
Where's it going to be held at? Where's it going to be held? The Connect.
It's always in San Jose. That's where the headquarters are. So it's always in San Jose, and it's almost always the 2nd or 3rd week of November. So this year it's November 15th, 16th, and 17th. And just so you guys know, if you still need, if you're considering going, there's a lot of discounts out there. So just talk to one of the speakers or even me. Send me a direct message, and we have speaker codes for like 20 or 30% off the ticket. Sometimes we can get it even off 50% off the ticket. So
Nice.
Let us know. Yeah, don't buy it full price. We can give you a discount.
Thank you, Mariette. Second congratulations is going to go to Jenny Moore. She's not with us today. She is one of the 50 most influential women in accounting. So yay to Jenny. Yay. Okay, so now I think a lot of people are excited to see you, Ada.
Oh, I'm excited to be here.
Google Forms. You want to do a little intro on yourself? And then we'll go around and we'll all just say our name and the name of our company.
Sure. So hi, everyone. I met some of you last week. My name is Ada Barlatt, and I'm your Cheerful Operations Ally. I work with small business owners to help them find the technology and software that they need to help their business grow. So I'm interested in combining strategic systems thinking, metrics, and software to help you create the business of your dreams. So I'm excited to chat with you guys about Google Forms.
Awesome. So Dennis, want to give a little intro? Oops, Dennis is muted. He has piano lessons. And that's my fault I did that.
Well, actually, I muted myself. I think my wife is getting warmed up for her next lesson. I'm a CPA. I used to be a pro advisor. I still am in name only, but I don't really do much in the way of QuickBooks. And I do taxes and getting into IRS representation and tax planning. So taxes is sort of crowded out QuickBooks.
To do what you have to do.
Yeah.
Sarah, want to give us a little intro?
I'm Sarah Laidlaw. I'm Savannah, Georgia, nonprofit accountant, and I am the developer of TBX, Trial Balance Exporter, and we're working on a new update.
I love you.
So the tax people have been yelling for a working trial balance export, so that's what we're adding. So nope, and a pro advisor since the DOS.
Thank you, Sarah.
I've been with Intuit since the Quicken,
Wow.
Dating myself.
Yeah. Tiffany?
I'm Tiffany Stewart, CPA. I'm in Canada. I have a full-service CPA practice, and I've been using Intuit products since 1992.
Thank you. Peggy?
Hey, how's everybody? I feel like I'm the only one who's not doing anything right now.
Oh, yes, you are, dear.
I'm really new to the game and learning new things every day. I used QuickBooks years ago, and I'm just now getting back into it this year. I'm trying to develop my company as West Point Books. And let me see what, I recently graduated from college and I turned 53 yesterday. So I got a lot going on. So everybody, hi.
Thank you, Peggy. Mariette, we've already talked to you. You are the Intuit Profile Pro Advisor of the month. Elizabeth is just hanging out with us. She doesn't have a camera or a mic. That's okay. That's okay. We do have
Thanks for coming.
And Larry, can you unmute and say hi? Give us a little intro about
Yes. I'm hanging out. I haven't started my firm yet. I was going to start this year. I don't think it's going to happen until next year, but that's all right. And since I had all those problems with my equipment, I think it's just as well. Get all the bugs worked out first.
Absolutely. I'm Gina Rodkey, Gina's Internet Advising. I'm your host today. Yeah. So with that, let's start with Ada. What do you have for us?
Yes, I've got lots of fun stuff today. I've actually created a little PDF that you guys can share. Can I share my screen, Gina? Would that be all right?
Absolutely.
All right, let's do it then. So I want to do this.
Down at the bottom.
Yep. I was just picking my screen. I have two screens open and multiple windows. I'm like, which one do I want to share? I think I want to share this one. Awesome. Can you guys see
Yes.
Awesome. So I've already introduced myself, but I'll just add a couple more pieces in here. So I know that Tiffany mentioned that she's in Canada and everyone else is in the States, and I'm an American living in Canada. So I am in Waterloo, Ontario right now, and but originally from the Great Garden State of New Jersey. So I definitely know what that cider that you were talking about a little bit earlier, Gina, is like, and it's lovely. And the Mennonites up here have lovely cider as well, I'll say.
Awesome.
So just wanted to add that in. And I'm not an accountant. I'm an engineer by training, and I come to this work with that background. So for today, and on the next slide, I'll show you the link where you guys can download this presentation for later on. But we're gonna hopefully do a quick but comprehensive overview of Google Forms. And I think earlier, or maybe last week, Gina, you said you might have some things you want to add. So just let me know when you want to do that. We're going to start off by creating a form, then get into adding questions, talk a bit about sharing, how to look at and use the data through a spreadsheet. And then I'll share the link in this presentation as well as through our Zoom chat. And you guys can fill in the form and we can play around with what we can do with the data once it comes in. That's at a very high level. If you want this PDF, you can go to this URL. I'll copy and I'll paste it into the chat as well.
I think that we need to be not on screen share in order to see chat, because you used to be able to, exit full screen, but it's not.
All right, I'll stop my share.
There we are.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay.
And then
Gina, can you put that in the chat in our Facebook group too? Since I'm driving, I won't be able to access it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yep.
Thank you.
And then, so I'll copy this link
and
put it in the chat. There it is. And then you can download this PDF and follow along. But I'm planning on sharing my screen and just walking you all through it kind of verbally, but at least you'll know the names of certain settings and stuff later on if you need to map up the two. And so I'll share my screen again if that's all right with everybody.
Go ahead. Yep.
Has everyone gotten access? Okay. I'll close this down, share my screen again, and we'll pop into it. So I was hoping today, I don't know if you actually have a directory, but I was thinking maybe a little example form that we could create together today would be a directory of all of the fabulous people in Gina's group, the Small Business Accounting Advisors group. Does that sound okay?
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, let's see how we get here. So this is what Google Forms looks like, but let me back up half a step and start from the beginning. So you'd want to navigate to forms.google.com to get started.
I usually go, I'm sorry, Ada, I'm interrupting you.
No worries.
But I get there just by going into my Google account and going to Drive, and then under New, you can find Forms.
True, that's another way. So you can go to forms.google.com, or you can go into your Drive, drive.google.com, and as Gina just mentioned, clicking this blue button, this new blue button right here, and picking, for me, I have to click more, and then you'll see Google Forms down here. No matter how you get there, you'll see this fabulous page. And what was that?
I said, okay.
All right. And you'll have a couple of options. You can create a new form from blank, which is this white box here. You can look at all of your recent forms, which there are 2 here, because I created, this is a blank Google Drive account that I have for giving demos and things. So there are just only 2 in here. Or you can use this template gallery. You can click the words template gallery and see a bunch of other examples that other people have created and shared with the community. So if you like one of these to start with, you can do that as well. So if you click blank, you'll start a new form, but I've already started with ours. So I will just open that one up.
You made us purple, our favorite color. Thank you.
Is it? I love purple as well. We'll talk a little bit later about how you can change the colors, but that's pretty exciting. So some of the things that I've done before I've signed on to this call right now is first is I've given the form a name. If anyone else has used Google Drive before, you know that new documents or sheets are created with an untitled file name. So I've popped in this directory name here. And then also, once you have a new form, I'll just delete it so you can see what it looks like. You can be prompted for a form title, which is here, which I've just pasted in this SBAA, Small Business Accounting Advisors Directory. And I added a small, very easy, simple description, which is, this is a directory of members of SBAA. Okay, so we'll just use that as an example, but obviously there's many different ways that you can use Google Forms in your business. So now we've got that set up, and I typically do that first. You don't have to add a name, a description, and the title, but I like to because I create lots of forms, and it's nice not to have 3 or 4 different ones named untitled, and so I know quickly what it will be if I close out everything, or I have to stop in the middle. I'll know what it is. So I like to name it from the beginning. Then we can add questions, and the easiest way to add a question is by clicking this little plus sign in the circle, and you can add as many questions as you wish. And once a question is added, you get to choose your question type. And there are several different question types, and in the PDF, there's a link to a description of each of the question types. But you can have text in terms of short answer or paragraphs, multiple choice, which is selecting just one, checkboxes, a drop down. One of the more recent features is file upload. So if you wanted people to upload images,
how did you get to that?
Documents, they could upload. Oh, I'm sorry, was there a question?
I'm playing along on my own sheet. How did you get that menu to pop up?
Sure, I clicked the little plus button to add a question.
Okay.
Yep.
And then from there, the dots.
And then the where?
Okay.
So from there, so then you click the add the question, and then there's a drop down.
Oh, got it. Okay, sorry.
Right there. No problem. No problem. Sorry about that. File upload is fairly new, which people will be uploading files directly into your Drive if you give people access to this. So you want to make sure you're aware of that, because people will be uploading stuff to your Drive. Linear scales, if someone wanted to rate something on a scale from 1 to 10, you also could have a multiple choice grid or a checkbox grid, and then a date or a time. So there's lots of really powerful options. But let's pretend that we want to add a certain set of questions to our directory, and let's first start off by adding a name. Let's say we wanted to have a name category. We can enter this as a short text, and then you can click these 3 little dots, which means you could add a description. So you could say, this is your name. You could say if you wanted first and last or the format. And then also you can have response validation, which can be really powerful. So you can pick what kind of text you want to enter in here. Do you want it to be a number? Do you want it to be a number with certain criteria? But we're actually looking at text. And we can look to see if the text contains something, it doesn't contain something. And in other cases, we could also validate for email addresses or a URL, which we'll add those questions shortly.
We can also make it required.
We can also make it required by sliding over this, clicking the little circle and making it purple. That will make it required. So we've added a short answer question for your name. Let's add another one for email address. So we can always add new questions by clicking the little plus sign. We also can use this, this icon here with this kind of a square and a square, and that means duplicate. So it'll make an exact copy of the element that you selected before. So here, the title is the same name, the description is the same, and the required option is selected. So let's say now we wanted to do email address instead. We can type in email. And with Google Forms now, sometimes it will give you suggestions based on the description that you've entered. And here the suggestion is saying we want to either enable email collection setting, which we'll talk about settings a little bit later, but that's a setting where you can require people to be logged into their Google account when they submit your form, and in the back end, Google will take their email address that's associated with the account that's logged in. So you can turn that on. We're not going to do that right now. What we are going to do is turn on our response validation. So again, the 3 dots, selecting response validation, going down into the text area, and we're going to make sure that it contains an email address. Now, the text area to the right of that drop down with email address selected is where you can enter in custom text. If you had, maybe you wanted to make funny error messages, or you had a particular message you wanted the user to see when they, to be prompted if they were not entering an email address with the right structure, you can enter that here. Sometimes
So I want to stop for just a moment, go back. Can you go back?
Oh, yep.
You have to be on text to get the email address to come up.
Yes.
If you're on, for example, number, you won't see the email address.
That's exactly correct. But there are other ways to validate. There are other numeric rules, like things that you could select. If you wanted a number that's a whole number, or greater than a certain number, less than a certain number, you can put other requirements on numbers, but text is required for it to be an email address. Yep. Any other questions so far? No?
Way up at the top of your title, the SBA Small Business, you've got a smaller font than I do. Were you able to edit that?
No, I don't. Maybe it's just...
No, we looked at this before.
Yeah, no, you can't edit the text. It might just be the size of my screen on your screen, or something like that.
Yeah, because I typed it exactly like yours, and mine's huge. Huh, weird. Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You know, when you say it should be in text, text form, how did you get to that again?
So you click the 3 little dots.
Oh, okay. All right.
And you can either add a description or remove the description, and then we've been looking at response validation. And response validation is really guidance you want to give to the user so that you get the information in a format that is useful, that you want. So if you want to restrict people in some way from entering in data in a format that doesn't make sense, then you'd use response validation.
Okay.
Yeah. So if we wanted to, we could also add, let's say every member has a website. So maybe we'll ask to add their website. Website. And again, here, sometimes depending on what you type in to the question box, Google will make a guess as to what format the question type it will be. So it's updated mine automatically to short answer, but I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to return on that text validation one more time and make it a URL. So the website is mandatory to be a URL. The website field must be a URL, but I'm going to leave it not required just to see, I can show you guys those different options later on, what it means to be required versus not required. Okay, so now in our form we have 3 questions: the name, email address, and website. Let's see if we added anything else. Gina, is there anything else you'd want to know about?
Let's do a poll.
What was that?
Let's do a question, like a poll kind of question.
Okay, what would you like?
Help me out, guys. What would we like to ask?
What would you like to ask?
How did you hear of us?
Okay. So how did you hear about SBAA? So now we have a couple of options. Do you want people to only be able to select one option? In that case, you'd want to have multiple choice or a drop down. And if you want people to be able to select multiple options, you'd want to select check boxes. What are your thoughts, Gina?
Let's give them multiple choice because I want to have other.
Okay, let's do it. So we can add the other field, just as Gina mentioned. So that will give someone an option to select this radio box and type in their own custom answer. What are some other options?
How long have you been self-employed?
Did you just call that little circle, the blank circle, a radio box?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you know why they call it a radio box?
Why?
Wow.
No, I don't know.
Oh.
I've been hearing that, and I look at it, going like, I wonder how that looks like a radio box. So
Radio button.
Yeah, that's a really great question. I've never asked that question myself. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'll take a note.
I can Google it, and if I get an answer, I'll let you know.
Okay, thank you.
It was named after the physical buttons on the older radios where you had preset stations. Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
So how did they hear about us? What choices are we going to give them?
Yeah.
Facebook?
Mm-hmm. Facebook? I can't.
Or
another
social media. How about social media?
Okay, social media. So one thing to note, as I'm adding options, you can click and click this down here to click and add an option, but an easier way is just to hit the enter button and it will automatically insert an option. So that's what I'm doing.
How about YouTube?
YouTube?
Yeah.
A friend?
Word of mouth?
Yeah, word of mouth.
Anything else?
Yeah, a Facebook group.
Well,
I've got
okay.
Facebook.
We have social media, but if you want to specify Facebook group, that's fine.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else?
Another. That's good.
Another. Okay. Another thing I want to point out is if you wanted to add an image, you could add an image by URL or snapshot from your Google Drive. If you wanted to add an image for each of the options, you can do that.
Oh, for each of the options?
If you wanted to, yep, you could.
Oh, I see it.
Yep.
Cute.
So that's pretty fun if you're interested in that. We'll make that question required. So now we have 4 questions in our form. At any time, if we want to jump between questions, we just click it and it will select it. And then also, I want to bring your attention to these 6 dots. They're kind of horizontal.
Yeah.
And the cursor becomes a little like a 4-arrowed cross. And that means you can click it and hold down and reorder them. So let's say you add questions in a different order. You can click and drag and reorder them.
I want to say that if you're collecting the email addresses, that goes to the top, and you don't get the choice to move it.
Yeah.
Hey, can I show you guys something really cool that I just noticed?
Sure.
See where it says, how'd you hear of SBAA? And it says Facebook.
Yes.
When you click on the image, one of the choices is your Facebook albums.
Oh.
Oh.
I thought it was going to go to my hard drive.
I'm not signed into Facebook on this browser, so yeah, that's a cool.
I clicked on your albums, and I'm like, those are my Facebook albums.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's creepy almost. Okay.
But kind of exciting too. If you ever make a mistake and add a question, so let's say I duplicate this by accident and I'm like, oh no, I don't want a duplicate of it. You can always click this little trash can and it will delete it.
So it just takes that one question away.
It deletes that one question. Yep.
Got it.
And a little pop-up will come up here for a little bit of time. Oop, it just went away. If you're like, oh no, I didn't want to do that, look over to your bottom left and click undo and you can undo it as well.
This is fun.
Great.
Cool. So another thing I want to point out, because we picked multiple choice, is that we can have different pages of our form. Right now, all of our questions would show up on one page. Actually, let me stop and I can show you right now.
Do you have to do a save or something, or does
Nope. Automatically saved, and you'll see it up here. If you can see this part that says all changes saved in Drive.
Perfect.
Anytime I make a change, this will say saving or updating, and then once you see all changes saved in Drive, you know all of your information is safe.
Perfect.
And it's in Drive. If you ever get disconnected from the internet, there'll also be a pop-up up there that says you're now offline. You'll be notified. But if you are cautious and you want to keep saving, you can make sure you look for that little phrase there.
And so while you're up there at the top, next to that is your star. If you want to star this
Yes.
will always be at your forefront when you go to forms.
Exactly, as well as move to folders. So I created this in my general Drive file, but if I wanted to, I could file it someplace else by creating a new folder and moving it around within my Drive as well.
I like your happy folder.
Yeah.
Goes with our happy hour.
That's right. That's right. In my demo account, I'll show you in a little bit how we can access, how you can get the link directly to the form. But this is what it would look like if you were to navigate to it. We notice that we have our form. It's pretty in purple. We have 4 questions. One is email, name, website, and how did you hear about us? And then the user will be requested to submit. If you were to click submit, you'll see that there are required questions are highlighted.
Yeah.
And let's say if we wanted to type in something that wasn't an email address, you'll get the notification that this must be a valid email address. So previously when we were talking about, I'll show you actually. So here in this email question, if we didn't like that text, this must be an email address. If we want to have something happy or custom, we'd enter that text right here.
Aha, got it.
Please use an email.
Really? You think that's an email address?
Okay,
again.
do that. Really?
Really? Say what?
That's funny. No, I got that on one of my things I was filling in, and somehow I forgot to put that in. I didn't do it on purpose. It was an accident. But
So you're always going to have to reload if you make changes to see the results, but there we go. Really think that's an email address?
Yeah, you're forgiven.
And then
I
once
have a question.
actual email address,
Coming out right at all.
Dennis has a question.
On say you have a numeric type of response, can you put rules like no negative numbers or has to be greater than 0 or?
she showed us that.
Yes. So if we were going to add a number, if we were going to add a question that says number greater than 0, if we were going to make that one up for some chance, we could add a short question, use the response validation for is a number, oops, and then we can select that it is greater than 0.
Cool.
0.
Or
Perfect.
57 or whatever you wish.
How about between?
Yep.
Yes, that's there too.
Between,
Okay.
not between, is a
Okay.
number, a whole number, equal to.
Okay.
Man, I wish I could do this in Smart Sheets. Can this pull to a spreadsheet?
Good question.
It can, and to a smart sheet as well. We were going to talk about that at the end, but yes, there is an add-on to sync up your Google Forms.
Wow.
I can just see those wheels running.
Yeah, so I'm going to delete the question here. But one thing I want to bring your attention to is to the next feature. So all of this in our current form right now is all on one page. if you ever wanted to divvy up the pages,
Well, let's add another section.
we'd add another section.
And,
So we can
and under this section, tell us a little about yourself.
Okay, tell us a little about yourself. Tell us.
About. Tell us about.
All right, and you can drag questions between sections, as you just noticed. So I've dragged the name question from one section to another.
Oh, right.
You can drag questions between sections. So this is tell us a little, oops, spelled that wrong. Tell us a little bit about yourself. The other important thing I want to note about this is when we're choosing multiple choice, there's a really cool additional option when we click the 3 little dots. So we still have the option to add a description as always, but you can select go to section based on answer. So if you had if you had multiple paths people could take through your form, you could create different sections and you could navigate people to certain sections based on their answers. So I wanted to point
So it's almost like a flow chart.
to point that out. Yes. You can also shuffle the option order or keep them the same if you wanted to change them randomly or something.
Do you also have the ability to make one choice or multiple choice?
Yes. So if we wanted to, let's add a new
Would that
question.
be a checklist?
That would be a checklist, exactly right. So in multiple choice, we cannot choose more than one option, but in check boxes, you can.
That makes sense.
So, I don't know. What social media websites do you use? And then you could say Facebook and Twitter, and maybe YouTube. And you could also add another if you wanted.
Put LinkedIn.
Yeah.
LinkedIn, we could add LinkedIn. For sure. We could also add another option since there's new stuff popping up all the time. And we can also, there's some response validation. So anytime I add a question, I always like to click the 3 dots because there's usually something new and exciting and interesting in there. So here for checkboxes, you can have some options. They need to select at least so many boxes, at most so many boxes, or exactly. And if you remove that validation, then they have any number of choices, except if it's required, then they must select at least one option. Does that make sense? So if it's not a required question, they can skip it and not check anything. If it is a required question or has some sort of validation associated with it, you can specify what you want people to do. That's another cool option.
What's the difference with, what is a checkbox grid?
Let's add one. So a checkbox grid. So we're going to have different rows and different columns. So if we wanted to say, let's say if this question was, when are you available for a happy hour? Then you could maybe say Monday, 9 a.m. Yes.
That'd be great for the West Coast, but not so much.
Not before after church.
Yeah, and noon, 3 p.m. I'm just making this up, but then we can have Monday and Tuesday. And
So then they have to pick one from row and one from column.
Well, you could require a response from each row if you want, but now that we're all saved up in Drive, I'm going to refresh it on this page and show you what we're up to.
How did you get to that view?
This view. Oh, okay. I'll show you.
Fast.
Sorry.
No, I can show you. I can show you that. Let's just look at
the eyeball.
and then I'll go back and show you. So now we have 2 different pages, right? Because we have 2 sections, section 1 and section 2. So when it's displayed to the user, they have to click the next button. And the next button won't work until all the required information is filled in. So let's have happy@gmail.com. And our name is Happy since we're so happy. Then when we click next, you'll see here, this is what a checkbox
cool.
grid looks like.
That is cool.
I cannot believe all the different options.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of really great ones. So to answer that question, to go back and answer the question, I think the best way, I'm trying to be aware of our time, is
Relax, we're good with time no matter what.
You go right to the end. You're good.
All right, all right. So to answer the question, how do we get the link to share with others? There's multiple ways, but the easiest is if you click this little send button. Now, here we've got lots of options. We can directly enter in email addresses and send directly from Google Forms.
Mhm.
You can also click this box to include the form in the email. So when somebody receives their email, the form itself will be embedded within the email.
Ooh, nice.
To get the link, you can just click this little, it kind of looks like a paperclip icon, and just copy that link. And I'm going to.
You want to shorten it?
We could shorten it too. Let's shorten it.
Yeah,
And I'll
yeah.
copy it. And I'll put it in the, well, it's in the PDF if anyone's accessed that, but I also can put it in the Zoom chat in just a moment when I stop sharing. And then also you can embed it. So you can embed a Google form within your website. And actually on my contact
support form.
On my contact page, I've embedded a Google form
This is
on
exciting.
my website, right? So
I'm not going to
sorry.
sleep
But
tonight.
this is a Google form embedded within my website, right? This is my contact page that I've made through Google Forms.
Oh, I like
Nice.
that.
That's kind of cool.
So you can do
Nice.
it that way as well. So
if I get a support email,
yes.
I can just fire back with this little link, and they'll just fill it all out.
They could do that, yep.
And then
Or
where's
you
it
could
go?
you could put the form on the page, and then you can get notified whenever anyone fills one in.
Then where does it go? It just goes to my Google.
Aha, okay. So
Before we do that,
And then
let's go to settings. I'm sorry. I want to go out of here.
I'm
from
gonna
the
get you out of
settings
order.
And
Sure,
I want to go to the settings. Yes, there. And I want to say I had to deal with this. Collect email addresses. What was it that I needed? I had two instances I was using forms. One where they were actually doing a poll where I only wanted them to submit one. And the second one was, as an officer, I was going to a meeting, taking my laptop, and many people were going to submit the form.
okay.
So I had to come here to settings, and I had to click on, I know it was in settings, responses, and I know that require sign-in, limit to one response. That's it. So if you're doing a poll question and you want one answer from one person, you have to click that box there. If you
Yes.
want people to be able to put in multiple submissions, then you leave it unclicked.
Then you can leave it unclicked for sure.
If it depends on how many accounts we have. If we have 3 or 4 Google accounts, we could do 3 or 4 different email addresses from Google.
You could,
Yeah.
because it would be tied to that Google address. Yes.
Right, right.
Yes, I'm gonna walk you through this in detail, but just before I want to point out one other thing, because people have mentioned social media. So there's sending it via email, getting the link to send to other people if you want to write a message, embedding, but also you can share the form directly via social media by clicking any of these buttons, Twitter, Google Plus, or Facebook.
Cool.
So I wanted to point that out to you. But so, let's get back into the settings, because there's lots of really cool stuff here that Gina has brought us to. So one is collecting email addresses. So if you want to collect email addresses, as we've mentioned, as well as limit one response, but someone would actually have to have a Google account in order to submit.
Right. I wish you could do it without doing that, but
Yeah,
it was the only way I could find.
there might be a workaround, but it's outside of the scope of this conversation, I'd say. But you also can let the respondents edit after they submit. There can be an edit form, an edit link, so they can go back and update their submissions, as well as seeing a summary chart and text responses, which I'll talk about that in a moment, because someone mentioned, where does all this information go?
Right.
In addition, you can choose different options. You can set a confirmation message. So it typically, when you hit submit, it says your response has been recorded, but you can add a message like, thank you. or whatever text you would like. You can include a progress bar. That's particularly helpful if you have a really long form so people know how much longer it's going to take. You can shuffle the question order if you wish. And you can also give people an option to show the link to submit another response or not. And I typically uncheck this unless there's a case where someone's going to need to keep sending the same form over and over again to you. And then the last option can be really helpful for teachers, but maybe in your situations as well if you need to score something. So you can make it a quiz and assign point values to questions, and then it will auto grade it for you. So you can see if people miss a question or correct questions, and it will sum up their total.
Nice.
So that part is kind of exciting as well. So those are all on your settings. We can change from purple if we wish. Oops, sorry, wrong button. I meant to click the palette. We can change from purple if we wish to other colors, blue if we wanted, or a different kind of blue. Or
I was
green.
playing with the themes. Do you see the themes?
We can also add an image if we want, or themes.
Okay.
So we can upload photos or pick a theme. A logo.
I think some of them are actually GIFs also that move around.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So if you want to have some fun, you could do that. I'll randomly pick this one for now. Why not? Oops, there we go. And then if you ever want to see a preview, and this is another way for you to get the link, the shareable link, you can always click this I, and then the URL that it takes you to is the link that you can share.
Very nice.
I'm just
cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and you'll know when you're signed in and you own this form, you'll always have this little pencil here that will take you back if you click it to be able to edit your own form.
Okay. Where is the pencil? Top
So
right.
I may be okay. Can you see it better?
People.
If all of our pictures are over it, maybe over it.
Oh, okay. I moved mine. I guess you guys have to do it yourselves.
It's
So
in
just
the
grab
upper
header and put it to the
in
bottom.
the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, perfect. I'm going to close some of these tabs because I've got way too much going on. All right. Leave. So here we are there. I'll just take it back to purple since we mentioned your purple people. And we'll leave that there. So we've talked about colors and image. We also can play around with different themes. I just have a little checklist here. I'm making sure that, one thing I didn't mention is if you ever want to add collaborators, so those are people that you want to give permission to edit the form with you, you can add collaborators and share this with other people. So they can come in and edit the form itself if you wanted to do that.
Nice.
So that's another option. And the fastest way that you can do that is either clicking the 3 dots here and add collaborators, or you can do it through the big send button.
I see when you were up there on those 3 dots, you could also make a copy.
You can make a copy if you want to copy this form and make a small modification, or for whatever reason you can copy it. You can move it to trash. Another really cool thing you can do is get a pre-filled link. So when you click that, it opens up your form, and anything you fill in when you're done, you can set you'll get a unique link with that information already pre-populated.
Oh, nice.
So let's say we wanted to pre-populate social media, right? Then I click submit, and then I get the URL. And if I share this URL with someone and they visit the page, when they make it over to that second page, my name's Ada, next, social media already be pre-populated. And you can do that with any field. So anything you want to pre-populate, you can create a unique link for. Does that make sense?
Can you have hidden fields?
Hidden fields, not so much. But one way that I've kind of gotten around it is pre-populating a field on a section that no one can ever navigate to. Does that make sense?
Oh,
yes, I hear you. Clever.
So that's kind of like a workaround, but there's no official hidden.
Because I have a form that I use for donations, and I have all these hidden fields that I need on sales receipts they wouldn't know anything about, like the sales tax code and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it populates my spreadsheet so I can just TPI it right on in.
And are those unique for each person, or?
No, it would be unique for the donation, like the whole form. Whoever's putting in the donation would have one sales tax code. It's one of those information that I need in order to import, so I just buried it in there.
Got it.
Put it in there, make it, and then I hide it.
Another way you
Creates
can
a column. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another way you could do that is when we look in the responses in the spreadsheet. So I think, is there any other questions about how to build a form before I get into like where the data is?
No, I want to know where it goes.
Okay.
This is exciting.
Let's do that. So I'm going to leave this.
My brain's already going crazy, but I had to do a form.
So I'm going to leave this the way that it is. I'm gonna stop sharing for just a moment so I can pop in the URL so you guys can start filling out this.
Oh, you want us all to go fill them out?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
so
then
you
you'll
can
get to
see the
what
responses.
Data. So I'll you don't have to fill it out with real information. It might be funny to see what kind of funny stuff you guys come up with, but
Oh, good.
because you are gonna be able to see the data on the recording. So anything you don't want the public to see, please don't put in here quite yet. We always can go back and delete some of those responses, but I'll give you some time to do that, and I'm gonna restart my screen share.
And not everybody has to be a part of Google to fill out the form.
No, not
Unless you click that box.
that box to collect email addresses. So as long as you're not collecting email addresses automatically.
What happens if you're collecting email addresses and they are with AOL or something?
You can't.
So yeah, so if you wanted to collect an email address with a question, then anybody can do that. But if you want to kind of collect email addresses behind the scenes, then
I see.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sneaky.
Yes. Oh, we've got a response, everybody. We've got one response.
Oh, fast.
Okay, so this whole time we've been here on this questions tab. Now on the responses tab, we get to see what people enter. So we have a couple of options here. We can turn on and off our form with this slider. So now when it's purple, we're accepting responses. If there was ever a deadline and you wanted to stop accepting responses, you'd come and turn it off here. You can get an individual summary or a joint summary. Oh, we've got 3 more responses. So as we go down, it will automatically create some charts for you and create some really cool charts that you can copy and paste in other places for you automatically. And we're still getting responses. This is very exciting. So this is looking at...
People aren't doing the website. Put in https://.
You can't just go www.
It's not a valid.
I just put mine up and copied it, and I think it must have put that in.
Let's see.
There went.
Is mine in there?
Yep, you do need the HTTP.
Yep.
So I just brought it up and then copied it right from where your URL is.
We could, for ours, we could say, really? You forgot the http://.
We could do that.
Or can you put that in and then have the rest of it like people put?
Oh, we could have that part in there already.
We could pre-fill that part as well. You could do that. So you can have a summary. Thank you everyone for submitting all those fabulous.
Oh, I haven't hit enter. Sorry.
Do it.
Or you can have individual responses. So you can look at each response individually by clicking these buttons and look exactly at what each person has selected. And it will tell you at the bottom when the form was submitted.
Oh, you have to go again. If you go to the link again, you get a new form.
You do get a new form, yes.
Yeah, and I can't get back to the form I was filling out. I didn't want to miss what you were saying, so I left it.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Can you have them edit
And then
form? I think you can.
Can you, I'm sorry?
Can you have them edit the original form? I think you can.
You can. You'll need a little script to get the URL associated with it. It's not complicated.
Yeah.
We won't have time to review it today, but I could send you guys some
But
information.
it's possible.
It is possible, for
I
sure.
just have to be faster or split. I didn't split my screen.
Ah, I see. No worries.
Screen, so I don't know how to get to what, it's there, it's underneath, it's behind.
Oops.
Submit another one. It starts all over. Yeah.
Then another one starts and all over. Yep. So all of this is automatically populated based on the responses people get. But you can also create a spreadsheet. You can do that by clicking this little green icon, or in here in select response notification.
Let's do the spreadsheet because I think everybody will love to see that.
Yes.
And that's what I use almost every time. And Sarah, that's where you'll find, is that where you'll find your Smartsheet integration?
That's an add-on. So we've got a couple of options here. One other quick thing I want to point out is if you ever want to get email notifications when someone submits, you want to turn this setting on here. So that time, every
5,000 email notifications when you're done, Ada.
Yeah. So I'm going to turn that off right now. And we'll click this spreadsheet, and Google will automatically either create a new spreadsheet, or you can select an existing spreadsheet to add this form data to. So I'm going to create a new spreadsheet and click create. All right, so now we have a new linked spreadsheet, and we can click the same green icon to open it over up in Google Sheets. So here we have a Google Sheet view, and so Sarah, I think you mentioned before, you could use this within the spreadsheet itself. There are some add-ons that you could automatically generate those codes you were looking for as well. So there's lots of options in here, and you can do whatever you want. Now it's in a spreadsheet. You can graph this stuff. You can add additional columns and do all sorts of really cool stuff now that it's over here in this spreadsheet. And anytime anyone adds a new submission, it'll automatically be added to this spreadsheet as long as the form and the spreadsheet are linked. So if you ever want to unlink them, you can
show where it lives in Drive before we unlink.
Oh, okay, sure. Oh, I wasn't going to click the unlink, but you can click this right here to unlink the form. So in your Drive, now you'll see I have a new spreadsheet, and it is in parentheses responses, and that tells you it's attached to the form with the same name.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Goes in and does more stuff. It's linked, and it'll go over to the summary.
Exactly.
And it'll keep building that spreadsheet as people respond?
As people respond. Yep. And there are some really cool add-ons that you can add that are that I want to bring your attention to. So if you click now we're back in forms, we're back in editing our form. We click the three little dots.
We'll collaborate with one of us.
Oh, what was that?
Can you collaborate with one of us?
Oh, sure. Who do you want me to?
Or at least show us why, because I'm thinking if I had all my employees, then they could help me do support.
Yeah, you can collaborate. So you can either collaborate with people to edit these forms, but if you just wanted to send the email to multiple people, you could do that as well, like when the support forms requests come in. But let me show you some add-ons really quickly that I really, really love. One that I think is really awesome is called Form Publisher. I'll just walk you through it really quickly, but if you ever wanted to have a form, collect data, then you could automatically create a template in Google Docs or in Google Sheets that can automatically be populated with the information from the form and emailed to the person that submitted the form right off the bat. So let's say if you wanted to, I think this example is a receipt of some sort. So I fill in the form, I enter in my information, I click submit. The information from the form will be used like a mail merge in the template that you've created. And then in a PDF, you can attach that merged document and send it away. Does that make sense? Yes?
Perfect for you, Sarah. There's your receipt for your TBX.
So you could have a receipt for a support message. You could send an email message or a PDF. So Form Publisher is pretty awesome. And the link to Form Publisher, if you want to watch a video about it, is in that PDF I shared.
I've always wanted to, like, for us IRPs to order software for people, we have to manually get their credit card information.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I would put credit
Security and all
card
that
information.
stuff, I don't.
Yeah,
I would
think
never
that's
put credit card
a
information through the
problem.
Google Forms.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
no.
No.
Too bad they don't have like.
Just a
I mean,
public,
I'd pay extra to have a secure. It'd have to be secure up and down at rest.
Can't set
There
it up
there
like
are other form companies that do accept payment through them, but not Google Forms. Yeah.
Yeah.
My question is, I mean, I'm understanding what Sarah is asking. You know how when you go to a site where you purchase something and they show you the last 4 digits of this card number, would that be not what you're looking for, Sarah?
No, I have to actually see. Intuit has no way to take a credit card.
Oh, okay.
So I have to pull up the order form and hand type in my client's credit card information. It's insane.
Yeah, I can think about that, Sarah, and I'll let you know if there's another.
So really, it's a form. Do you want more information? We call, and then we get on the telephone, and we actually, in the good old-fashioned way, sell the software and get the information. But if I were buying, I wouldn't want to give my information to somebody over the phone because they know that I'm writing it down.
Right.
And once I write it down, what's going to happen to it?
Yeah.
So it's a.
We could.
yeah, one of the things that I would tell people, and I have a heavy black marker, that after I write it down, after I get it where I need it to be, I take the heavy black marker and then I shred it.
Yeah, I'll say, look, I've got the order form in front of me.
Right.
And we're going to fill it out together, and I'm typing. I'm not writing it. I'll do this stuff.
Got it.
Ooh, smart sheet. Okay. Give me something to play with. Yeah.
So there is a smart sheet sync add-on. It's free that you can add to your Google Forms where it will sync your forms and smart sheets. So that's another one because I know there's some smart sheet users out there that I wanted to bring that to your attention as well. But Sarah, if there are some other options that maybe you and I can discuss offline that you might want to think about in terms of collecting payment outside of Google Forms that we can.
How about signatures? Do they have a add-on for capturing signatures?
E-signatures, not in Google Forms, but there is an add-on in a software called HelloSign.
HelloSign. I use that on my because it's free.
Okay,
free or a couple bucks.
There's a Google Drive add-on for HelloSign, so you can look at that. I don't think it's within Forms. Let's see. Add-ons here.
That would be cool.
But I don't. HelloSign. I think it's within. No, I think it's only within Documents, Google Docs. But maybe what you could do is have someone pre-populate a form, use something like Form Publisher to fill in a document, and then use the HelloSign add-on there. So it might be like thing. Something to think about.
Is HelloSign free?
What was that?
No.
No, HelloSign is not free. No.
Depending on where you get it, like I think the app that I got for my phone and iPad, it couldn't. I mean, I never paid much for it, so it couldn't have cost much.
No, it's not. It's not very expensive. HelloSign, like it for e-signature.
But that's if somebody sends me a document to sign. I can pull up the PDF. I can sign it and send it.
Right.
It's the other side of the table.
Right.
Who's asking? How are they collecting it? Where is it going? They're probably paying.
Right.
Yes, they are. But you can try, I believe, well, while we're talking about it, I'll just go to the website really fast. There's lots of other options for e-signature tools, but HelloSign
Right signature.
E-signature, yep, and their pricing.
So there's Right Signature as well through Citrix with all their other products
Right
too.
Signature, DocuSign, Adobe has their own. There's a free plan, and then it goes.
See, I knew there was a little free plan.
Okay.
But these guys have a nice integrated with Google Drive. That's the only reason I brought them up. Adobe's signature service also does, which I think is called Adobe Sign, I think.
Yeah, they have something.
One last thing that I want to introduce you to is another add-on that's a bit more, it's a bit different, and it's called Awesome Table. And we talked about this before. in Seth's group, your Google form, and do cool things to present it to other people, you might want to look into Awesome Table. You can do really nifty things like create slideshows, which you could definitely do in your website as well. But all of these slideshows are driven through a Google form. Some of the more powerful things, let's say Gina wanted to actually create a public directory for all of her members, you could do that. And we'll have your images and your pictures and all the information that you've collected, and people can search by country and department, and all the stuff is automatically created through the Awesome Table add-on. And it's free. Awesome Table is free. You can create maps.
You can do what?
We're losing Ada.
Ada, come back!
I think you must have too many things open. You're breaking up.
The bandwidth.
Yeah.
Bandwidth, yeah.
Really taxed from the bandwidth.
Or Gantt charts on the floor.
We're missing what you're saying. Ada, stop. You need to close some stuff.
Oh, okay. I've got too much going on. Okay.
Your computer's going.
Oh, yeah, no, I got this, my connection.
Oh, she's
Closer all together. Oh, no.
We didn't tell you to leave completely.
Yeah, well, maybe I'll just end it there since we're already at 6:30. Does anyone have any other questions?
That was a good
Awesome job.
Got me anyway.
I have a question. What's a practical application for this? I mean, would I put it on my website, or what would I use it for?
Oh, there's so many.
Forms?
Yeah, I'm not very imaginative, so I'm just kind of.
Yeah, so I use forms for my contact form on my website, as I showed you guys earlier. If you have a new client intake form, or if you have a consultation form, you could use it then.
Once you start using
yourself, if you ever want to pre-populate contracts or have a database of your clients, you
Can you have an attachment on the form where they can click it and read?
Click it and read?
Like see attached.
You can add a link.
Oh, you can have links. Oh, yeah. I didn't even mention that. You can. I should have done that. I don't know if my computer's going to yell at me.
Just have you come back next week.
If I share again, but you can add a YouTube video. You could add images. You could add. Yeah, you can add
a PDF. What I'm thinking about is like say here's your attached contract or something, or
Right.
The other thing,
here's my client guide. I have a client guide.
Yeah.
So
after they submit, that you could send that email with an attachment for sure using Form Publisher.
Right.
Okay.
How
You make
about
Sarah
if,
very happy here.
I know. I'm usually taking a nap by now, but I'm wide awake.
how
We should
about
get
if
back together next week and see what everybody came up with.
Oh, yeah. You know, we should
Oh,
do
we
that.
have to go out of town this weekend.
we have 2 questions, people waiting, Linda and Larry. We'll start, Linda, yes?
I want to do what Sarah said. Let's have a homework assignment. We each will create some kind of a Google form.
Right.
Well, I want to say that Ada is talking about doing instructions, and we may be able to join her. Do you want to talk about that, Ada?
Sure. In the PDF, if you have access to it, on the last slide, it describes, and I was planning on having a tutorial.
She froze again.
Ada will be doing a little bit more than just the simple Google Forms. She'll be doing the more intermediate and the more advanced
workshop?
stuff as like a workshop and
workshop.
tutorial. Yes.
Where?
Do we know when she's going to do this?
As soon as she unfreezes, she knows where we're at.
Well, she
And how
has
to get in touch with us.
a link in her
Yes.
presentation here.
Yes.
So it might have more information.
And we forgot to ask Larry's question about Google Calendars, how it would integrate with Google Calendars.
Oh, that's
Her
right.
link says Thursday, November 9th is a group webinar.
So,
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Sarah, what?
Her link? Her
is it
link,
like, okay, yeah. We
Thursday,
lost-
November
I don't
9th.
know what's happening. Boy, oh boy, we want her back really bad.
Love her energy.
A great session today.
Love her.
Enjoyed it a lot.
It was nice. It was really nice.
Mhm.
Say a date, Sarah.
Thursday, November 9th.
November 9th.
Yep, that's what it says on that form.
Oh, it's a Thursday night.
No, it's 12 to 1
Daytime,
Eastern.
right?
Yep. It's a lunch hour.
Okay, then I can do it on the West Coast. Perfect.
I'm locked up.
But
You know what?
November
I'm hearing more and more things about Google and everything that I think I'm about this close to dropping Microsoft and Outlook.
Yeah, that's what
I've been dropping Microsoft piece by piece.
Yeah.
I haven't used Outlook in about 5 or 6 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Does anybody know if you can add on your contact list like custom fields or anything
On the Google form?
on a Google contact?
Why not?
I'm sure you can.
Are you talking in good, like what with Google Calendars, the contacts that come with Google Suite?
You're talking about in your
Yeah,
contacts with Google, right?
Right. Because if I'm going to leave Outlook, I take my contact list and bring it into.
Yeah. I'm just looking.
Oh, okay.
Me too. I'm looking as well.
I don't need a full blown CRM for my client list is so small now. But I always like, where's the?
Yes, you can add custom fields.
Yeah, okay. And I think I found a.
You can add a phonic name, nickname, title, file as, notes, email, bunch of them, relationship, instant messaging, and then customs as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was
Yeah.
one of the things I was going to do tonight.
Seth I think Seth just uses Google.
I know. And I'm tired.
I think Seth
And
is
it-
using Nimble.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
we
played with
use
that
Nimble
for a
for
month.
the CRM stuff, but the contacts are in there. I mean, I'm looking at all these contacts. Yeah,
Yeah.
Got it.
I
Yeah.
like it.
Microsoft is just
Oh, I think
a
Ada's
bully.
back.
They
She's
don't
on the
like
phone.
Ada, are you with us?
I called back in because my internet just went. The router
Oh,
went, so that's
no.
We thought you did this by design, and the anticipation is killing us.
He's dedicated.
So tell us about your webinar that you'll be having.
yeah. So I was planning for. Oh, let me find the date. 1 second.
Thursday, November 9th.
There we go. Thursday, November 9th. To have a workshop all about Awesome Table and perhaps creating the directory, finishing that process. But I'm open and available to creating other ones if people are interested
What
in
time?
attending.
What time zone?
Yeah, what time?
12 to 1
Eastern.
Eastern. 12 o'clock Eastern.
That's Dennis.
We've got a bunch
That's
on here.
Dennis playing the
Yeah,
piano.
okay, I just muted him, I'm sorry. So, Ada, we had one question that we did not get to, and that was, can we integrate with Google Calendars? So,
Google Calendar.
Larry
You
was
can
asking
definitely
that.
access
Bet
dates
you can.
through what kind of integration would you like with Google Calendar when you say integrate with Google Calendar?
For example, if you were having, let's say, a registration, an invitation and a registration, and then you want to give them a chance to connect that time slot to their calendar, is there a way to do that?
There is. I don't know if Google Forms would be the best option. There's lots of calendar booking apps out there, and some of them are free. So you can definitely do it. If there isn't, to my best knowledge right now, a way to do that without some sort of script or an add-on, but there are definitely ways to do it.
Okay.
So if you want to send, I can send you some options. If you want to stay within Google and do that, there are definitely some options and some resources I can send you. But there might be some other more straightforward ways through other applications.
So I want to say to everyone, we have a link now that we can get in touch with Ada. So if you go ahead and use it. Go ahead and use it. I guess we didn't put up a question. Contact us or contact me for more information.
Is the link on the SBAA on Facebook? Because it's not in the chat.
It's in the PDF forms, and also the form that we filled out is in the chat
form. Where is the PDF form? Is it on the SBAA Facebook group?
It's in chat right now, and I will put the link up when I put the recording up.
That goes to our survey. I clicked on the thing in chat. It goes to the survey.
And what link are you looking for?
Do the first one that's from Ada, not the second one.
I have only one.
Here.
Late. So
there you go. I just put it in again.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very much. Got it.
And I'll also put that up on the recording too when I put the recording up.
Oh dear, I hope that's the right one.
I was going to say, there's a new Google Calendar out,
Oh yes, there is.
I don't even know how you save chat. Well, I'll copy and paste it to Word.
Don't worry about it, Linda.
Or if you just link it.
When I put the recording up, I'll put it up in the description.
I'm going to try to go paste it over into our Facebook group. Is that okay?
That's fine.
Thank you, because that way, I think that was where people might look.
Okay.
And we have a lot of other people that didn't make it today, so. I missed the time too. Is it like 12 noon East Coast time?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
9 a.m. Great.
Ada, thank you so much. This was tons of fun. I knew it would be. If we have any questions,
thanks for having me, Gina.
We'll put it on. We'll put them in our Facebook group. We'll have to have you back. And I know will see you on your webinar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. And I love you guys so much. It was so much fun chatting with you last week. You may just see me pop in whenever I can because you guys are so much fun.
Absolutely. We'd love to have you.
Bring your dog.
You're so much fun. So I hope you all have a really great weekend. I'm sorry my router died, and hopefully I'll be around another time soon.
That'd be great. Ada, this is Tiffany. We should go for coffee sometime. I'm just up the road from you.
Oh,
definitely.
Yeah, I'm just in Milton.
I will pop my. Oh, awesome! I will pop my my link and my email address in the Facebook group. But I'm also in the group, so feel free to message me in Facebook, and I'll get that, and we can. For anyone, if anyone has Google Form questions or anything, just feel free to reach out. I'm around.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ada.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
All right. Have a great weekend. See you all next week, same time.
Bye.
Bye.